Hey, what's up? Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to episode number 4 of Couples in Business. We are just moving right along.
Yeah.
We are the Anthonys, got the Sierras online with us, and the Jacksons will be here in just a moment. They have some things to do, but they are rushing in because they want to be here with you guys too. So while we are waiting for them, please take some time and like, tag, and share this video so we can get this out to the people. So, hey, we are here, y'all. How y'all feel? How was y'all week?
This week for me was painful, man. Like, ever since I've been in that car accident, my back been acting up. This week was like the roughest week. But other than that, more stresses bring more blessings, so I ain't gonna complain.
Yes, sir. So, Nicole, how about you?
It was a good week. I got some, fall cleaning done. I just cleaned out some closets, got rid of clothes. That's exciting to me.
It wasn't some clothes.
Like 20 bags.
It was 14 bags of
Somebody
stuff.
must get a blessing.
And the rest was like garbage. So
it was 14 bags of clothes and like 6 bags of garbage.
Okay.
Wow.
I put them in some bins.
Right, that's what you call getting it done.
Yeah.
Let's say when you make space from the old, you can be ready for the new.
Yes.
No.
My closet, I love the way it looks. It's like organized now, but that might not last long.
So, babe, how was your week?
I had a good week. We've been busy. Just love TLC and what we're doing with them and our team and these promotions and sales and incentives and just it's so much love and positivity from that. Me and you've been rocking. I've been reading a book, The Empowered Wife. I've been trying some stuff. I don't know if he knows it, but I've been doing some stuff.
I've been peeping you. I've been peeping you. So hey, it's all right.
It's funny that you mentioned you was reading the book, right? Because I was scrolling on Instagram the other day and I seen a random guy, and it just like challenge to men. So I'm like, so I clicked on it, and there was a guy saying like, I challenge all black men to do this 30-day hug challenge where you just walk up to your wife unexpectedly and you give her a hug out of nowhere for 10 seconds, then you walk away. So I'm like, 30 days? I'm gonna do this challenge.
We got the other part.
But he said you have to hug her from behind. Not like a regular hug. You have to come up from behind her and give like a sneak hug.
And it sparks intimacy.
So he was saying that if you do that for 30 days, it reignites or it enhances whatever intimacy might be in a relationship. So I said, let me test his theory. Let me see. And no exaggeration, she didn't know. Like 2 days ago, I came up behind her, I gave her a hug, she jumped, ooh. The next day I do it again, ooh, I felt butterflies. I'm like, oh, this stuff really works. So all the husbands out there, I encourage y'all to join this challenge, even though they know you still could catch them off guard where they don't see it coming. Unexpected hug from behind, 10 seconds, and 30 days of unexpected hugs and loves to our wives.
Hey, you know what? That sounds like that might turn into something, though. Creeping up from behind. You know what I mean?
I'm saying, like,
Hey,
if that's what you're going with.
Let me reel it in. Come on, lead us the right way because you already know how I do.
Okay, well, we're so excited about everything that's been going on and coming on here and talking about couples in business. And I know that one of the things that really inspired the Jacksons to put this together is because we work so closely together. I mean, it is really a unique opportunity and not something that I think enough couples talk about. But we know that pastors and their wives, the first ladies, they work together. If you have singing, people in entertainment, and then you have the manager or whatever that is. In this case, we have the manager, the fitness piece, us together with TLC, your individual hustles that you all have going on. Definitely Angie and Daryl the same way. And with the inordinate amount of people that we serve and deal with on a regular, it can be a lot. One of the things that Marcus and I were talking about is, what does it mean to you, or how do you deal with when you're upset with your business partner, but you're in love with your spouse? How do you all separate the business from the pleasure? What do you do when you deal with that?
I love that question because that's a big thing for me. Because my thing is, we not gonna let nothing get in the way of this bag. That's my mentality. But when I'm upset with my business partner, I talk to him as a business partner. I keep it separate. I keep it separate. How about you? While he sips his
Now, Nicole,
his
how do you keep that separate? How are you able to separate the two?
She don't.
I do. I do. Now, when I get mad at him for business, it's just about business. Like, I'm not going to walk around, or maybe I don't. Do I walk around the house
Yeah.
with an attitude? Well.
Yeah, so this is what happened. Right?
Okay.
Let me turn the computer a little bit.
Whatever.
So, I'm like the least confrontational person. So even if I'm mad at her about something business related, I don't like, it doesn't travel with me throughout the day. She'll say why she's mad. That's the one thing I get. Like, I don't ever have to guess what her emotion is. There's no guesswork. She's gonna tell you, and if she don't think you got it, she's gonna tell you again and again, and then she's gonna keep telling you until you either respond or something, and that's how it is. But for the most part, we haven't had too many issues where it was like a business infraction that caused a relationship issue, because that's a very thin line. Because we're married, we've been married to each other 9 years now. We live with each other every day. We deal with each other on so many different levels. When it comes to the business, the one thing I kind of like about the way it's set up, from the very first time we met, she always like acknowledged that she liked the way I thought. She liked my thought process and how I handle things. I'm a people person. I like to talk. She's more like opposite. She'll sing and do stuff like that, but she don't really want to converse with people like that on a scale like this, like on a bigger scale.
This is new.
On an intimate conversation, like we was in the same room, she had talked, it's different, but like now that people are watching, there's question and answer, like she's coming out of her comfort zone, which is cool. But I kind of already had a business mind. So it's not that I'll take the lead, but she'll let me, stay a foot or two in front. And then if she don't like something or she sees something ahead, she'll be like, hey, I don't,
Hi.
Oh, the hostess with the mostest. You gotta unmute yourself.
We can't hear you.
Unmute yourself, Andrew.
Gotta click the little microphone. Keep going. She said keep going. So like we haven't really
had... I want Jason to finish his thought. I want to hear what he was saying on that.
So I'll like kind of lead the way per se without really like, I don't like to feel like it's do what I say or else. Like I tried that, it didn't work for me. Some guys can get away with that. I can't do that. You know what I mean? Some guys can run their household like iron fist. What I say, go follow my rule. That don't work. I tried it. It didn't work. So I learned another route. So
oh my gosh,
I can like suggest something business wise. I'm like, hey, Pook. If you ever hear me say Pook, I'm never going to call her Nicole. So I'm like, Pook, we got to do this, and this, because in order to generate money, we should approach it like, and I'll lay it down. And she might not get it that day. She'll be like, that don't make sense to me. But she won't say no. She'll be like, all right, you do that. And then once she see how I'm doing it, she'll be like, oh, that makes sense now. Because I'm bringing some street savviness into the business world that she has she's not from the world I'm from. We're from the same city, but we're from two different worlds. You know what I mean? So she has the straight and narrow educational. She's very intelligent. She's very intuitive, very caring. I'm like savvy. How can I manipulate the system, quote unquote? How can I further this without breaking the bank? So it kind of works out very well when we put the two together, because certain lines I may have been willing to cross back then. I won't do it now, but she won't let me get those ideas. She's like, nope, you're thinking too much into the streets. Keep it on the business side. So we kind of like let one play off the other, but luckily we haven't had any major issues that caused a rift in the marriage because of the business.
Yeah, we kind of keep it on the good, the up and up.
Why don't look at her like that when I'm commenting, Marcus? Don't do that. Because what you do, you subliminalize.
I actually wanted to hear her thought on that. Man, that's a really interesting question. And Jackson, y'all can think about your thoughts on this. How pose your question again?
How do you compartmentalize your relationship and separate the business and the marriage? How are you mad with your business partner, but in love with your spouse?
I really try to keep it separate. So I talk, like he said, I talk about it right then and there, how I'm feeling. You're not going to sleep until it's over. We have to talk about it because it bothers me.
That
so
bothers
much.
me because I love my sleep.
And he'll, like, if he's upset with me, he won't speak on purpose to make me upset. So I kind of like, I respect his business mind. So I kind of like, I look for his for him to like give me something to go with. So I'm like, I respect it. So I'm like, what do you think? How do you think I should do it like this? Like, I want your input because I care about how you feel about it. So, I mean, we don't really have too many risks because like our business, like when we come together business wise, like we're like a force, but yeah, he's good with the business side. It's the other side that we have a little.
No, we ain't gonna talk about that.
We're working on it.
Right. Okay, so
but I like, yeah, I just like to keep it. I like to talk about it right then and there so we can just fix it. Like, okay, why do you feel this way? Why do I feel this way? Let's fix it right now because we can't have this problem, basically.
Right.
Okay, so if you're watching real quick, do us a favor, like this video, tag someone, share it to a group that you may be a part of or to others that you may think this will bless, because this is Couples in Business, but there are so many unique nuances that we deal with as entrepreneurs and couplepreneurs. We want everybody to just take a moment this evening and listen in. Marcus is trying to rope me into answering my own question, but no. It was actually the Jacksons we were welcoming in. They were just busy and delayed. They had a surprise visit from their daughter who is serving us in the military.
Thank you.
And so we are so grateful that they were able to join us. Jacksons, we want to hear from you.
Thank you guys so much for kicking it off, Couples in Business. And this is the beautiful thing about being in business with amazing couples like you guys. If we're caught up, the show still goes on because it's not about us. It's really about the people that we are assigned to reach. So thank you so much for that. That's an interesting question. And I know Alana had to have posed this question.
No, she did.
Okay,
it was me.
So here's the funny thing about me. I am, and this is on both sides of it. Once I say what I gotta say, then I'm on to the next thing. And so sometimes it just come out kind of like straight to the point. That's about the only time, like if we're dealing with something. And then I'm like, so what's for dinner? And he looking like, really?
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Right, like so quick.
Yeah.
And that's what I used to do when my kids were young. They would get in trouble. We would reprimand them. And once I reprimand them, then I'm like, you want me to fix you a plate? And they looking like, no, I'm good. I don't want no plate. Because it takes a minute to get over stuff. And so that's one of the things that I do. But it is difficult I find it difficult to separate the business part of it. But I think we found that once he'll go in one room, I go in the next room. Once we let sleeping dogs lie, then we can come back like nothing ever happened. And then maybe later on, because I don't like to sweep things under the rug, he's probably like, oh, I hope she don't bring that up no more. But I'm more like, hey, we can't go to sleep without looking under this rug, and let's figure out what we need to take care of.
So on the business side, I'm more so like, you know, a lot of times we clash, right? But it's not because we're not on the same page, although that could be some of the situations sometimes. But for the most part, when we have our differences in business, we usually bring it back together. And this was a prime example. Closed out Thursday, right? Oh man, Angie saying what she's saying, right? And I'm just in the other room, like, are you like for real right now? I mean, and then literally a minute later, it's like, so yeah, did you put that order in? Yeah, I got it in. Oh, okay, cool, thank you. It's just like the comment that was just said, like, man, like, can we talk about this? And then once it's gone out, just like she said, she liked the kids. So what y'all want for dinner? So it's like, you know, man.
No, you gotta come with examples if you're gonna put me out there.
Because we were talking about putting orders in. And
I need some specific.
we were talking.
But what time?
We were talking
Good.
where certain volume was gonna go under a particular individual.
Okay.
And so when I wasn't on that same page with you with this one individual, then it was just like I was just like, okay, I had a brain fart, you know, because I remember, you know what I'm talking about. I had a brain fart. And that's legal, right? That happens. You can't have a brain fart, right?
Is it legal for them to? Is that what you call a brain fart?
Yeah, because if the women have a brain fart, then we're supposed to just look that over and just keep it moving. But when we have a brain fart, we got to deal with this right now. But again, I had a brain fart. We got through it, and it was just on to the next. And I love that. The business portion, I love that. Now, when it comes to the relationship part, though, it's just like, I'm more so like, man, if it's a situation and it could be something that I did or whatever, I'm just like, man, well, if it ain't that extreme, sweeping under the rug, I kind of like that because I sweep it. And if it's really not worth talking about, we can move forward. We can move.
Did you pay attention to my body language?
No, I ain't even looking at that. But I'm looking at the part because guess what? We can go back and forth because I got my opinions, you got your opinions about something. So if it's not worth all the tea in China or all the tea in TLC, then I'm going to say, well, we can move on from this. I don't want to have to deal with the mental stress. Oh, and by the way, we do have business and other things that we have to deal with too. So if it's not worth the conversation and we can move on, then let's just go ahead and move on. Like business, though, we do have to talk about that because we got to make sure that we're on the same page. I'm not saying that that's not the same thing in marriage or in our relationship, but again, we've been married for 24 years, guys. I mean, I ain't going nowhere, she ain't going nowhere. So we in this thing, and so we know, like, if there's something said, we know we can get past it. Like, if it's something, man, we don't agree about dinner. Okay, well, you know what, Uncle. Whatever you want for dinner, babe, we can go with that one. But something more concrete, solid, something that we really need to talk about. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to sweep that under the rug. We could talk about that. But if it's something like surface-wise, we can move on because we got bigger fish to fry. Business stuff, so that's talking about money, that's talking about other people making money and everything else. We got to talk about that.
Yeah.
We got to talk about that.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's interesting. You know, as you listen to the answers, I don't know if you picked up on this, Marcus, if you would agree, but there is a common thread between the men and the women. You'll notice that we are more emotional, got to talk about the things that upset us. The men are more practical. Daryl, you didn't put it this way, but we could look at it from the lens of our spiritual or emotional currency, because energy is everything. Everything is energy. All our points have volume. Everything has points. You know, it has a currency. Do I want to spend my time, my energy, my emotional currency in my marriage, in my relationship, and cash in on coupons of worry and fear and anger or whatever, when the reality is, as we have seen together as life changers, and for those who don't know what that is, we're all in business together, and we have seen, you can relate where a sale comes out. You weren't going to buy what you were going to buy, but you had an external factor trigger something within you. Boom, we changed the price of that enrollment. Shout out to TLC. Right now, where we have a $7 enrollment, where you too can start your business with us in Total Life Changers. Have a total life change. Right. That's right. Only $7 plus the 140 volume item of your choice, and you can be in business tonight. So,
Ding! Only until midnight, though.
Only until midnight. So we have that going on, right? And it just
Mark, you getting the business
floodgates
$7.
So you can instantly turn it on and turn it off into the desired result that you want to have. That being said, what if I only, right? Because about this whole thing about compartmentalizing, I thought I did that too, but we don't do that as women. I'm just speaking for me as a woman and listening a little bit to y'all, because it spills over into, if I'm feeling bad about that, then I'm also mad about whatever. And these conversations have really made me more attuned to my petty. Can we say that? Because we're couplepreneurs, and I can't. That's what I'm learning. My husband, and I love my husband, and I'm cashing in coupons on worry, where if a phone call rang, your mother passed away, I'm going to fall apart. What if I didn't cash out though? And earlier argue over some foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
And now get the boom, 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 boom. Now life calls, and what do I have? What did I spend it on? And so I'm hoping, we wanted this program. That's what this is about. Couples in business, and majoring in focusing on the major things, because everything else is minor. What do they say? Don't focus on the minor.
Don't major in the minors.
Come on. Don't major in the minors. Thank y'all. So, I got another question.
Okay.
It feels like I'm coming at the ladies, but I'm reading this book. Now, I did not know anything about this book, The Empowered Wife. As a matter of fact, I read this little questionnaire in the beginning, and I was like, that ain't true, but we'll see about that. And I'm like, I'm just going to read her little book. And I'm like, and then it got to the part, if you didn't see week 2, I encourage you to go back. Look at some of our previous weeks. It's on YouTube, correct? The week where Mark is saying, yeah, she don't have no sons. You know, my wife got 6
Mark
daughters.
is
She
like, I
don't have
ain't
no
never heard
sons.
that now.
And so
Oh,
she
boy.
treats me like her son. And I smiled, but I was heated. We had a whole big blowout. And my girlfriend had just suggested this book. I didn't know nothing about this book. And why did I read and get to the chapter where it says domineering women, intelligent women, women who have overcome a lot of adversity? If she doesn't say that, I can't find you a picture of her. She's much lighter than me. We'll say that. But we won't even get into strong, fierce, Black women. But we are very prone to give off this vibe. I don't need you. And what it does is, without intention,
Ooh, boy, you struck a chord right there.
without intention, the important part of the man.
Yeah.
And that hurt my soul, because I'm so big on empowering our men. Don't you understand the dichotomy, and so the paradox of it all, where we are fiercely, passion is our fuel, advocating for families, and at home,
Yep.
I don't need you.
Yes.
And wow, that did something to me. What do you all think about that?
Marcus is sitting back like, really?
Wow.
He like, can you read that book again, girl?
Do they have a sequel to this?
No, wow. That is, that's amazing. And I'm going to tell you why. And I'm grateful. Look, Jason said, I'll drink that.
Man, right.
I'm grateful that Daryl, we have been together so long, and he knows my history in terms of my mom. I grew up, my mom raised me, very, very, very strong woman, super smart. But here's the thing about my mom. She never went past 5th grade. She dropped out of school when her mom passed away. My mom was 13 so she didn't get past 5th grade, but she ended up being a very successful woman. Very, very intelligent and going far in her career. So she was very aggressive, and I'll take care of it. I'll do this, and that's how I grew up.
Yeah.
So he comes along, and we complement each other in so many different ways. And then it did become a time where I'm just like, and there are times that I really have to watch that. Never mind, I'll do it myself. I'll do it myself.
Man, I can't stand that.
That I'll do it myself.
No man likes that.
Man.
That I'll do it myself thing. It comes from that independence. And so it's one thing to know you're like your parents or to where the root came from, but it's another thing to actually make adjustments, knowing that. And that's exactly what it was. So there are plenty of times where I would have to say to myself, Angie, shut up. Just shut up. And become the wife that don't know it all.
Yeah.
That don't know it all. And it's not that I do know it all, but it just somehow we find a way to make it seem like we know it all. Because we may not know it all, but we may know 98%.
What?
I'm kidding.
What?
Inspired by the Lord. Oprah said it.
Yes. So, but anyway, I did realize, and I still realize that to this day, and that's something that I can't say that I've fully corrected, but that is emasculating. That is just literally cutting them off. And I remember, I'll let Jason and Nicole talk, but Jason like, no. But yeah, so that was
Right,
that.
now you keep going. You keep going.
Right. They don't want to.
So Shay Williams says, first off, nobody move as fast as I need them to.
Girl,
Have a seat. Go to sleep.
Send me your
Send me
information,
nothing.
girl.
You get nothing. You get nothing over here.
Absolutely nothing.
You get not a thing from over here.
Hey, go to sleep.
I am in charge of shipping. You get nothing.
No, but seriously, and so it does. That's why I said before, if we ever actually do a checklist of this thing we call love, we would find that we fail most of the time because love is patient.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we aren't most of the time. I'm like, he ain't do it, forget it. I got it. Nope, don't even worry about it. I got it. I'm gonna do it. I don't need nobody to help me. I got this. Just
And you talk about
in the neck and all of that.
especially that scripture. Love is patient, love is kind. You know what gets me? No record of wrong. And baby, I can tell you the day, the hour, it was raining. Don't play with me. You remember the car was running, the keys was on the counter. You had them blue pants on. It's finna call your mama. Don't play that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the whole.
And I'd be like,
when was this again?
when?
Who?
Right. And how do you remember?
Right.
So you remember
I
everything.
look at pictures that give me a date, and I would go back like, oh, I remember, because I had on this, that, and the third. That's the day you did that. It said October 22nd, 2017. You did that. I remember. Now I got a smell that's giving me all this other memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's read Tanika.
I want to speak from a place of being
Read Tanika's comment first. I want to just real quick. I am very independent, and before I met my husband, what she say?
I have been, and now he likes to control everything and not used to it even after 22 years of being together.
I hear you, girl. So that's just, that is our independence. But then let's just think of the flip side. There are a lot of women out there that really do want good husbands, and they're okay with their independence to a degree and willing to submit. So, you really do just have to look and say, if you are married, marriage isn't easy. Coupling is not easy. Business is not easy, but we are blessed to be in this club of ours because not a lot of people survive. Let's just put it.
So basically, she tolerated my bag. I tolerated her bag because we both come with bags, right?
Yes.
So if you can put up with that, because in the beginning everybody put up a great show. Like this is like that job interview you go to. man, you sound the best out of everybody. And so now it's just like when we settle down and you start working,
had a memory.
Right? You start working a job, they might look at you like, "Dang, I hired you."
Right.
Man, you talk a great game, but I hired you.
Yes.
So but like over time, I don't know. I shouldn't say complacent, but that's usually what ends up happening. But yeah, I mean, and we both learn how to we compromise, just like Angie said, and is a give and take, right? Like I said, sometimes I cry uncle, and the other times Angie don't cry uncle.
Boy,
we did talk about that crying uncle last week, right?
I never cry.
Y'all.
Hey,
Y'all don't even know.
you know what? I don't come. But that's just, again, that's my bag. That's her bag, and that's part of that. When she was coming up, this is what she was about, and so you love and appreciate, everything about everybody because we are unique in our own way, and so that's to know somebody is to love them.
All right, Nicole got something to say.
She got something hot. Go ahead.
He's over here making all these faces. I just want him to say what he got to say because this is a huge thing for us. See, my mom was very, very independent. Like, she had the mentality, I don't need anybody. Like, not even just a man. I need no one. So, like, I've watched her. Like, my mom went to work every day. She woke up at 4:00 in the morning.
Sounds like your mom.
She had to be at work at 8:00, but she woke up at 4:00, and I saw that every single day. So I always was like, oh yeah, I got to be about my business. Like, that was me. So yeah, I was like, I don't need anybody. Like, I want you, but I don't need you. But Jason, he's
Jason, quiet, boy.
Like, put on a nice show for me. But Jason allowed me to like take the forefront too. So it's kind of like I allowed him to take a back seat sometimes, and he allowed me. And that we learned wasn't really good for our relationship. It was good for us to equally, or for him to a little bit forth more effort. Because if I allow Jason to be complacent, he will. But I think honestly, this year in our relationship, we've learned that it's a lot of things that we got to work on when in regards to that. He's trying to be so quiet over.
Oh, Jason.
Say it.
So while
I told him you don't know.
While Jason get his thoughts together, it's interesting because I grew up totally opposite, right? Where you all say you all had the strong mom. I had the father that like ran the house, and like when I say ran the house, Pops ran the house, and he was the one that took control, and you knew you had to go through Pop. You know what I mean? And so, and I figured it was because Pop was doing this thing. He had money. He was able to control his own narrative. And so, sometimes being on this side, where you grew up like that, your old man got this big stature, and you still on the building side of it, and and then sometimes that thing comes from your wife, boy, that breaks you down, like for real, because now the only thing I got is the memory of my father running the house. And then I look at my present, like I'm not running the house. And so, that can, now, boy, shoot, I don't want to open that up because that's an interesting spot to be in. I don't know how many brothers, can attest with that. But it's it's rough, and I am gonna be careful, Melissa. I'm on it. I'm watching what comes out this gate right here.
Oh, Marcus. Okay.
Come on, Jason. Come on, man. Come on, Jay.
Seen too much. He thinks it's the show. Go ahead.
Come on, Jay.
So, right. I'm not being quiet in like any type of fear of saying something wrong. I'm trying to figure out a proper way to say this without. Sometimes, like, you don't want to go too far into a specific situation. So I'm trying to stay in the realm of how it pertains to the couples in business without going too far in. But I'm different than probably everybody up here in the sense that y'all grew up with your parents. I did not. I was adopted as a child. I was adopted at 4. So, with that being said, yeah, my biological father was around. My biological mother is around, but I grew up with a complete different view of family structure. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the only one in my house that's this complexion. Everybody in my house is darker than my wife, the house I grew up in. And my mother, when she got me, she was already, she already broke 50 years old. Her 2 biological children are older than both of my biological parents. So the way I view things is a little different. I was spoiled by women all my life. I was a young boy coming in. I was spoiled by women all my life. My mother gave me anything under the sun because she was older. She had 2 adult daughters that had children older than me. So I was like the little lucky light-skinned boy that could kind of get anything he wanted in the house. So it was like I kind of was accustomed to that. And when in terms of relationships, I guess you could say I kind of expected the women in the relationship to treat me like the women of my house. So it was like it had like it kind of like a negative effect on me in a sense of me dealing with women in my personal life. So when I meet Nicole, I didn't intend to expect her to treat me like that, but like she said, I put on a good show and then I fell back. And my falling back, she just kind of took over. And I just, because I was used to women running everything, I had an uncle in the house, but it was like all women in the house. There was no husband figures. There was no father figure in the house. It was just my mother, my 2 older sisters. So I was accustomed to that. And I think it took both of us a while to realize that was more of a detriment to my emotional state than any type of help. So like I can agree in the sense that she said this year, we both learned a lot that we had to make some adjustments, and adjustments were made. Things are looking beautiful right now. So I won't say that it's not, but it was a lot of damage done to me emotionally as a child that I think I'm just now like learning how to deal with.
Wow. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Jason. We appreciate that. And I think that understanding the background, where people come from, what our upbringing is, and it's not that we use it as a crutch, but it's just a reality. It's a part of us, right? The only thing we have to do is to try to overcome some of these things. And sometimes you can, and sometimes it's a permanent part of you. And but I think knowing like my husband actually experienced my mom and how direct she was and how independent she was. So he knew exactly what the root of where this all came from. He experienced it, but he also saw her inability to he also saw her ability to love people beyond measure. It was to the point that people would call her gullible, but she was never gullible. She just loved people, period. And if you hit her on one side, she'll turn around so you can hit the other side. I haven't gotten all the way there, but I do possess that same unconditional love that she has, and he experienced it. And I think that gave him a better understanding of me. And so I appreciate that. Everybody weighed in except Alana, who asked the question. Did you weigh in?
Did I?
Oh, no, not on this one. You weighed in on the balance part or the compartmentalized.
Well, I don't know what I'm gonna weigh in on that with, because I was too busy thinking about a couple things that we all said. The feeling of independence, coming from strong women, being strong Black women, the men agreeing that I don't know what Daryl said, but I know it to be true that men want respect. And so what you're talking about from a strong Black woman, when we don't need anybody, is it comes off as disrespect, really.
Yeah.
And we don't call it that. We call it being outspoken and I just speak my mind, or I need to just get this off my chest. But really, to men, it's extremely disrespectful. And so to acknowledge that and work on different ways. But the thing that's interesting about not needing this whole thread of how it manifests as not needing anybody is actually on the flip side of that, a need to be vulnerable. And you see, I can't be vulnerable that you're going to handle whatever it is I need, especially if you've made mistakes in the past and then I'm not forgiving, or everybody just having life. It's very hard to do that, if you're not willing to be flexible in your beliefs. So that's what I'm finding out about me. I don't know if I answered the question. Was that fair?
No, you did.
Okay.
I mean, for me, I don't know, Marcus, did you?
Oh,
You
no.
need a little more.
But you know what you said, Angela?
I ain't looking for nothing.
You know what you said?
What?
This was the word. And remember I said, Angie, I got a good question. And then I backed up off of it. I told Marcus before we got on that I was thinking about this question, but I wasn't going to answer it again. But you said it. You said some women are out here willing to be good wives and submit.
Yeah.
Now, bing, 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 bing. For today's women, especially women in business, couplepreneurs, you hear the word. If you're watching this and you are a couplepreneur, or you're married and you do things with your spouse, even from you're in the car, you know the quickest way, you're telling him turn right, turn left. I really would love to know, when you hear the word submission, what does that mean to you? How does it make you feel? Because it used to make me, I'll give you a spoiler alert, used to make me angry. That's some outdated something. Because women serve in the church now. Hillary Clinton might have been president if people had a different understanding about women in leadership and women as submissive. And I heard women from the church saying they wouldn't vote for a woman because a woman couldn't be in leadership. And so leadership and women and submission gets all. So let's just throw it out there. What does submission mean to you?
We're going to let Nicole take that.
So submission is basically, even if we do not agree, we are supportive of their decision. We will talk about it with them, like amongst ourselves, but out in public, we're not gonna, no, that's not right, or you should, like, we're not gonna do that in public. So I feel like submission is just basically, like, mainly it is respect. And respect doesn't mean you don't have an opinion, or you can't, say, no, babe, I think you should do it this way, or I think we should do this. We give our opinion, but even if he doesn't go that route, we respect the fact and we support him. But we, if things do not go well, we still don't throw it in their face like, well, I said, or I told you, see what I said? Like, and that's really hard. But I mean, that's what
you don't say.
Very hard, but that's what it is to me.
Okay. I appreciate that.
You want me to go first this time?
I think I can do it, and then I'm gonna let you close it. I think my definition of submission changed along the way. I think initially when he met me, I think I was too busy being Tommy Johnson's daughter. What came up, came out. I had all the answers. This, that, that's, and the crazy thing about it is Daryl's kind of like, the one thing I can appreciate about him, he's kind of like water. He just go kind of with the flow. He don't really stir up nothing. So he like, all right, and I get away with it for a certain amount of time. And but I noticed that as I got older, I wanted to be not, don't get me wrong when I say this, not told what to do, but led. Right. I did not want to be in the front anymore. Although all those years I was like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And he like, okay, but it would be better if this. And it's not like he submitted to me. He just would be like, if this going to cause less drama, let's do that. And so, but then as I got older, I'm like, I'm okay with it now. I'm really okay. I still have my opinion, and I'm grateful that he values my opinion. But at the end of the day, I'm okay with if we gonna turn this corner, we gonna turn the corner. And if we find out it ain't right, then we not right together. It's okay. And so it's never like, I don't think I ever go to the degree of saying, I told you we should have made a left.
No. I'm gonna say no.
Great answer.
But
He's the best.
I'm muted.
I'm gonna say for the most part, no. But there will be a little thump or something to just let me know that. See, I told you. I don't know. There's the way that I don't know. But see, I told you we should have did. No, she's never been like that. Never, ever. But see, sometimes I feel like I'm at fault for that because there are times where I know what it is, and because she's again that independent, like kind of, I don't want to say dominant, but it's just something like, hey, and I told y'all from probably episode 1 or 2, she's very smart, very, very smart. And I told
say
her
that every week, Daryl.
Yes, and she is. But no, so it's just almost like I know the capabilities of how smart she is, right? But it's just sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be quiet because I know I'm gonna be quiet and I'm gonna just let you go ahead and get an answer. And then when we see the outcome, then you'll say, oh yeah, well, you went on here. But then hold on, it'll come as like, well, you should have said that in the first place.
Yes, that's true.
I'm like,
that is true.
Uncle, now slide down. You know, y'all see now Homer Simpson gift where he just slide back in the bushes.
Then I'll be like, well, why did you listen to me? You should have. If you knew the answer, why you?
Because y'all be fighting
you said
so
it.
hard.
That's because you said it.
What we be doing? Tell me what we be doing.
So hard. We know, like, now I know I done made some dumb choices, like some stupid stuff, right? But there's been some times where I know I've been spot on.
Yeah.
Yes. And they were like, no, you was wrong back in 2000.
You gotta go
wrong now.
You gotta go now.
You're wrong now.
And it's like, man, woo, what you gonna say about submission?
That's called a blue moon. Once every blue moon, that may happen. But all the other moons, I'm right, and that's what I choose to focus on.
See, no, that's the problem with submission right there.
Submission for me has definitely evolved. Like I said, because I was the epitome. And see, I've been in my own apartment. I've had my own place since I was 17. And so my go-to always was, we'll get out. Okay, so this mine. And that was just like the Trump of all Trumps. And we could just end this whole conversation right here, right now. So just get out. And yeah. So that has been something I had to heal through, because that's definitely coming from a place of not wanting to be vulnerable and all kind of stuff. You know, I'm so grateful I don't look like what I've been through. But I do, hold on, y'all. Turn right back around.
Sorry, the puppy baby.
I mean, my goodness, like, is this conversation over? So that's that on submission.
So can I
we got some questions. If you're not done, then let me know, because there's some good questions on there. Go ahead, Mark.
So just what I want to say is this, you know, I've never wanted like a submissive woman that, you know, just okay, that's good. That's never nothing I wanted. You know what I'm saying?
We should be okay.
But here's the thing though, and fellas, here's what we gotta take ownership of. Are we giving them something to be submissive to?
Well,
you know, so you know,
get my church fan.
Yeah, you need to come back.
You know, we can want that, and we can demand the respect and all of that, and that's a really hard pill probably for any brother to swallow. am I really giving her something to be submissive to? Am I really giving her something to follow? And so, you know, while as a man we want respect and all of that, I mean, are we doing what we got to do to really get that? You know what I mean? And brothers, that's for us to take ownership of, because and you know what, we gonna have to talk, you know, with the men on our Man Cave Monday one of these days, so we can just really talk how we want to talk.
That's coming November.
But no, for real, brothers, what are we doing, and what are we giving them to, you know? Are we leaving the footprints, you know, for them to be able to step in and not get their feet wet? You know what I mean? So,
oh, I like that.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
in case you're wondering, I do have a list of all the things you're doing. No, I'm kidding. So, Angie, you want to answer the questions? Go right ahead.
I was just going to talk about a comment that we had. Latoya said, I've always been submissive because I believe it comes from my church upbringing. I still make my husband's plate every night on a glass plate and not a paper plate. Wow. I'm very old school, but independent. That thing spoke to me because I would have a fit. Like, even when the boys get Daryl's water or whatever for dinner, it has to be in a glass. It has to be on a glass plate and not a paper plate, unless we're at a picnic. There's no reason why he should be eaten out of a paper plate. So I thought that was interesting.
That's boss right there, Daryl. I'll be like you when I grow up.
Come over here, wash these dishes, Daryl.
Give me a
hey. 24 years, brother. You'll get there. 24 years.
But that's also old school. That's my mother.
No, I totally can relate to that.
And my father's
his father's that way right now.
You ain't gonna catch him drinking out no paper cup.
Right.
I like paper plates.
It's gonna happen.
But
Jason,
he said, or paper plates.
I like paper plates.
Oh, you like paper
He
plates?
doesn't like washing dishes.
It's less dishes.
But when we first got together, I'm always had to, I gotta make dinner, gotta make this big old plate. We don't eat like that anymore, so it doesn't have to be this big, huge plate. But I try to cook. I don't cook as much as I used to because I'm trying not to eat as much as I used to. But
see, like
he
things like that. I'm listening to all y'all, and I'm not trying to like. Somebody text me like, "Oh, fix your face." Like I'm here, but my mind kind of left for a moment, but I'm back. I met, her mom and her dad. So it's like her father is a very caring person, but he's like one of those fun, free-spirited type of guys. He's not like I did this in my life. I've been there, I've done that. He's very easygoing. Well, her mother's a little more militant. Her mother's militant in a sense like everything has to go the way she wanted to go. Example.
You better be quiet when she see this.
She's gonna call me and yell at me. You know what I mean? Which she will. She will call me. Yeah, she definitely will. Like, but everything has to go on her time. Like, she won't drive. Right? She'll call you and take to the store. There, take it to the store she want to go to, and be in the store as long as she want to be in the store, regardless of what the rest of your day was planned for. Yep. But she's always been like that. So cool. But I see like. When she does things like characteristics of her mother, I'm like, okay, and I'll say her mother's name, and she's like, "What you trying to say?" I'm just saying I see the mama traits coming out, and then like, but for the majority, she's like 75% her dad and 25% her mom. So I can live with that. I can live with that.
I kind of want to go. What Marcus was saying. I think. Okay. Why are we getting feedback? Well, I'm gonna keep talking. Marcus was saying.
What if the two people that's not talking mute themselves and then it went away? I don't know why. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so I'm again just going back to what Marcus was talking about. That was really key and good. If we just kind of like led the charge sometimes, right? Had we did it maybe previous in the past to kind of like show that we are very capable, of making sound choices, decisions, leading the way, and that type of thing. And we've shown, and again, Michael Jordan say, he's taken, I can't remember what the actual quote was, but he's taken a gazillion shots, but that's how he was successful, because he knew as he started making them, it was more of a confident thing. And so, had we did a lot more leading, or decision making, that's it. Decision making. If we as leaders don't come, and everybody on this call is a leader, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, as men lead their families, the leadership in that is very key. And sometimes if we are, and I'm not going to say not capable, but if we take a backseat approach to the situation, and we leave it up to our wives to make, then they'll become more comfortable with that role, especially if they're already independent women. They'll just gravitate and become more comfortable in that role. And then next thing you know, we'll be like, well, wait a minute, pump the brakes a little bit. Like, I got something to say as well, too. But because we've done it a few times, probably a lot of more times than a few, over time, it just becomes like a routine.
Yeah.
And so because we didn't say nothing then, or take a more of a better approach then, now it's like they feel like they're the ones that have to make the sound decision for things to play out. And again, 75 to 80% of it can be entirely wrong, but because we put them in that situation from way back then, now they feel a little, and sometimes they are right, as far as like the decision that they chose. So when they're right in that decision, imagine the confident, and it feeds, and they just think they can do it more and more. Whereas if we say something like, you know what, no, I got this, I'm straight, you can go ahead and sit back, go ahead, boo-boo, you can make your, whatever you say is fine, but I'm good with my choice, and we're going to ride or die. Because men say, uncle, right? Because we don't want no beef. We don't want no, back and forth. And remember, I'm the one glass half full. So I'm Mr. Positive. Not to say that you're not, but I'm Mr. Positive. And I just kind of like want to just keep going with it. So there are times, again, where I let her go ahead. If the decision is made, sometimes it's been so, callous that it's like part of routine, but that's so not right. And so when they do something and it's wrong, we should feel that, because we planted that seed long while ago, and now it's manifesting, and now we don't like it, because now, we're getting a little older, a little more set in our ways. We don't like it. And so now there's where the friction comes in. And guess what? It's our fault, because we didn't take the approach way back then. So I'll admit, I made a lot of wrongs.
Apparently, Alana is drinking to that.
But this is a keep it real type of a form, right? So I want to keep it real with me. This is me talking. I don't, Marcus and Jason, I don't know, but this is me talking in regards to my situation. Yes, I've taken the backseat approach a lot of times, just because I guess growing up, I never really saw my dad making the decisions. It was more my mom was on top of doing this and doing that. And so, as a child, you see that growing up, sometimes you just kind of fall prey to it, and it takes a hold of you. And so, my thought is too, wait a minute. I said, my wife is smart. I'm smart too. I can make some great decisions too. But it's just like I let that seed fester for so long. And now it's just like when she does that, I'll be like, man, can I get in on this too? Can I say something? But again, then it comes to me as like I take a offense to it. But again, I got to remember that seed that I planted way back when.
That's good. Wow. I will tell you guys this. We have this show has made us look at ourselves. It's made us like you said, check your pettiness. It really did just make me just kind of pump the brakes a little bit. And so I love that. And I'm hoping that we're doing the same for the viewers, that we say something and we put ourselves out there that's relatable and something that you can implement in your life, and not only be relatable, but be a turning point for you. That's our hope, is to reach all people, not just couples, but all people, and to understand that. I know that Alana talks a lot about the plank, and we good at, we so good. Women, we are very good.
Wait, what you mean, walking the plank?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Pointing out the plank and,
I know.
you know, pointing out
Yeah.
other people's, you know, inefficiencies and things like that. Go, you muted, Alana. Go ahead. Unmute you.
I said it's actually that speck of sawdust.
Yes.
It's the speck and the plank. And it's like, Jesus, don't you see this speck in his eye? And that whole story about that really talks about,
You walk around
Yeah.
there.
well, Jesus said, how you talking about the speck in somebody else's eye and you got a plank in your own?
Yeah.
But the thing about it is how close up you got to be on somebody to even see the thing.
True.
And so sometimes, you know, I'm learning now to back up off of him and allow God to have his way. And so I'm very thankful to the Jacksons who had this brainchild to bring this together. And just like Angie said, it was our ambition, you know, to the person that texted you, Jason, as well as to the people that reached out to me after the show, like, you know, fix your face and y'all okay and this and that. We want you to know that we knew this going in.
Yeah.
We knew that this would open up for us and create a space where we're vulnerable.
Yeah.
And we really don't know what we find ourselves into when we begin these discussions, but we knew that it would strike a chord and touch a nerve, and we want you to know that. And so if you're watching and, you know, you're not a part of a community of other like-minded couplepreneurs who are working together in business and have the strength and the ability to call one another to get through some of the trials of life, we want to welcome you to join and partner with us in business. You know, we never created this platform specifically for that, but we honestly would be remiss if we didn't say that with this open portal of this special thing we have going through midnight. So we can talk to you all about that after this. But that being said, it does make a difference to have other people speaking life. Otherwise, you just ping-ponging back and forth through life together. And sometimes, you know, what was little gets magnified. What was petty could have been left over there. And what was really big didn't get addressed and lands up in your relationship that really, you know, can rock your world, be it financially or health-wise. And so it's important, especially through this pandemic, that we're loving one another.
Yeah.
So we thank you for watching this with us, and we want you to know that we are gonna fix our face and that we are gonna be all right. And I've gotten over the whole her son thing. You can also weigh in on that. Is that funny for your husband to say she treats me like I'm her son? You can let me know if I overreacted when I slammed the stuff off my dress and lost my good earring. Don't you hate that when you overreact and you tear up your own stuff?
And then you got to clean it up.
Yeah. So we've gotten over that. So Angie, Daryl, thank you again. I'm gonna turn it over to you all.
All right. So next week, I know we want to talk because these last going on 48 hours have been very, very tiresome and trying. And we want to make sure that we talk about business versus life or balance. Yeah, we want to make sure business versus balance. And we want to make sure that we bring a lot of light, some clarity to how crazy things could get, how stressful things could get. So we want to make sure that we key on business versus balance.
Yeah, that's good. I appreciate that as well because it's needed.
Yeah.
But we do appreciate, as Alana said, we appreciate you guys tuning in. We did have my comment, because it reminded me of my mom. My comment of the night that I choose is Latoya. So Latoya, if you can message Daryl, and we're gonna get a package out to you. We appreciate each and every one of you all participating, commenting, liking, and sharing this video.
Yes.
It's very important. There are so many people that we have to reach. And so make sure that you are sharing this video and tune in. Next week, we will have Business and Balance with Couples in Business. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And we will be right back here Friday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you get your friends and your family to tune in, and also continue to comment on this particular video. Let us know what else you want to see.
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m.
All right, y'all. Well, that's a wrap. Thank y'all for joining.